same.
Oh my gosh.
We can't take this test without these two very important statements.
All right, take a look at this. The first thing you need to realize to do this question is you need to realize that the probability of B given A equals a probability of A and B divided by the probability of A. Or you can also say that the probability of A given B equals a probability of A and B divided by the probability of B. They're both equivalent. Now, here in this question, they've given you a few things. And I want to go ahead and create something here. Like, since we have A and B there, we have A, not A, we have B, and not B. And I'm going to make this little table here. I know that if I add up all my probabilities, it's going to equal to 1, and that's the part of the table I reserved for that. Now, the probability of A is 3/4. So I already know the probability of not A is 1/4. You know this for sure. Now, I don't have access to B right now, or B prime, but I do have the access to probability of B given A equals 1/5. So I already know that this here equals 1/5. So I know that that equals 1/5. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it down here as probability of A and B, which I don't have, divided by 3/4, which is the probability of A, equals 1/5. So if I solve for probability of A and B by multiplying 3/4 to 1/5, I get the probability of A and B. So the probability of A and B does equal 3/4 times 1/5, which is 3/20. And guess what? This here is 3/20. This represents A and B. And now, because you can now take 3/20 plus A and not B must equal 3/4. So if you take 3/4 and subtract 3/20, you'll get A and not B. So, I mean, we already have the answer to this. This is 3/20. All right. So 3/20, we take 3 divided by 4 and subtract 3 divided by 20. So we have 3/5. So this here's 3/5. We may or may not need it, but we're filling up the chart. All right, so the next one says, hey, answer the probability of B. Well, in order to get B, we may have to take some extra steps here. All right, so let's see if we can play around with this to capture it. There we go. Okay, so you said, where did I get the 1/4? All right, do you realize where I got the 4/7? It was given, right?
Yes.
And do you realize how I wrote probability of not B given not A equals the probability of not A and not B?
Where?
So we're here. Do you see how I wrote that down? Okay, so now look at this part here. Remember when I did this part here?
No.
All right, so A was 3/4.
Right.
So this is how this came up. The probability of A and not A must equal to 1.
Okay.
And that, so this is 3/4 and not A must be 1/4.
Oh, that's what I was trying to do for sure.
Agreed. Now, you notice that in A, B, like right here, I put in 3/20. That was our answer to A. Part A, the probability of A and B will be that. And as a consequence, I was able to figure out this because I know if I take 3/20 plus 3/5, I get 3/4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're here. We know that the probability of B given A, not B given not A, or A, the probability of B prime given A prime must be 4/7. I don't know what the numerator is here, but I do know what the denominator is. It's 1/4. Because that's not A. And now I multiply them together, 4/7 times 1/4. And that will give me the probability of not A and not B, which is going to equal to 4 out of 28, which reduces to what? 1/7? Last time I checked was 7 times 4? 28. So it is 1/7 then. And so now I know that here, A and not B, this here has to be 1/7. You see that? Now, what does that let me do? If I take 3/5 plus 1/7, what do I get? Well, I get the total for not B. Now I know what not B is. And as a consequence, I'll be able to find not A. I mean, not B by itself, sorry. Do you see that? So I take 3 divided by 5 plus 1 divided by 7 in parentheses. I get 26/35. So therefore, this has to be 9/35 because it's what's left over. And then if I take 3 divided by 20, and I subtract 9/35, I get 3/28. Let me just do it again. Now I've pretty much filled out everything. I can tell right now that the probability of B is 26/35. Now, whether they would have wanted you to figure it out that way or not, it's justified here.
Why would it be 26/35 when that's not?
Oh, sorry. 9/35. I'm stuck on not B. 9/35. You could see it there. Now, you could have gotten it somewhere else. Like, for instance, if you would have solved this one over here, solve it for B, just move over to B and find A given B, which you could find, then that would have worked. But that's essentially how you get the probability of B. Now, the last is probability of A given B. So all you do is the probability of A given B must equal the probability of A and B divided by the probability of B. So you have probability of A given B must equal, well, that's 3 divided by 20 divided by 9 divided by 35. And so if I do that, and make sure I put parentheses in their place, because if not, it won't be happy. I got 7/12. Let me put this in a bubble. Let me divert B to where the analysis of B should be. So for B, you would analyze and do this, and then come and fill up this. And that, in a nutshell, there's not a lot of math going on there, but I mean, it could be rough for some of you. Recording carefully. There we go. It should be resuming the recording. Is it recording? Yes. Okay. So let's take a look at this question. I'm going to try to parse it out for you the best I can. So there'll be 2 video links today. So number 8 says the probability of event A occurring is 13 out of 25. So just write it down. The probability of A equals 13 divided by 25. The probability of event B occurring, is 9 out of 25. Okay. The conditional probability of A occurring given B has occurred is 5/9. So the probability of A given B must equal 5/9. So now it says determine the following probabilities. So part A, it says, hey, find probability of A and B. Then it says A, this is I, so part A, I. Then we got double I. That's probability of B given A. And then we have 3 here. Probability of A or B or both. And then part 4, they want probability of not A given not B, or A prime given B prime. So here we are. This is where we're at. So let's start with A. That's I wrote 3/25, right? Is that 3/25? 13, okay. 13. I was gonna tell what it was anymore. All right, 13/25. So the probability of A and B is the first thing they want you to figure out. So you got to remember that we say the probability of A given B. I'm doing this because I see that there. I see A given B there. It must equal to the probability of A and B, see, divided by the probability of B. If you know that, then now you could simply solve this. You're going to realize immediately that the probability of B times the probability of A given B will yield you the probability of A and B, which makes sense. So you basically going to take 9/25 times 5/9. When you multiply that and reduce that, you will get the answer. So I'm going to go here to my calculator. And I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So it's going to be 9 divided by 25 times 5 divided by 9. That's 1/5. So this answer here equals 1/5. So therefore the probability of A and B is 1/5. Now, just because we should go ahead and just start, we're going to make this chart like we did in the previous problem. So we start filling out stuff that we know. And at the same time, we start getting all the stuff that we're interested in here. So we already know that the probability of A is 13/25. So that means that the probability of not A must be 12/25, which will equal to 1. Now, the problem gave us that B is 9/25, right? So what would be not B? What would be not B? Not 8, but 16/25. What's left over, right? Does that make sense? Because 16/25 plus 9/25 is 25/25. Which is 1. And so, but we got more information because now we just figured out that the probability of A and B is 1/5. You see that? And now that we know that's 1/5, we can figure out A and not B. Buenas. ¿Cómo estás? Dime. Ok, entonces. Sin problem, sin problem. Guys, I'm gonna pause this. I have a meeting. See if you can figure out the rest. And if you figure out the rest, you can resume the recording and you can record it for yourself. So can you fill out the rest? And the answer is maybe. That's why you need to be comfortable with fractions or have a calculator that makes you comfortable. So I would take 13 divided by 25 and I would subtract. Oh, I put minus, damn it. 13 divided by 25 minus 1 divided by 5. And that comes out to 8/25. So right here, this comes out to 8/25. And now I can take 9 divided by 25 and I can subtract 1 divided by 5. And here I'm piecing together all the probabilities associated with A and B. You see? And so 16 divided by 25 minus 8 divided by 25. And that's, wow, of course, that's 8 divided by 25. Didn't have to do anything for that. And I always check myself, like 8 plus 4 is 12, good, 8 plus 1, everything works out. And so now you can solve everything else you need to solve because, let me do this in purple, the probability of B given A must equal the probability of A and B divided by the probability of A, and it's easy to do that. A and B is 1/5. A. Oh, it's not updating quickly enough. Okay. Oh, come up. Probability of A and B is 1/5, and the probability of A is 13 out of 25. So you can clearly see that this is gonna come out to 1 divided by 5. It hasn't loaded yet, divided by 25. I get 5 out of 13 for this one. It hasn't loaded. All right, let me go ahead and, there's an internet issue. So let me go back. Give it a second. Go back here.
I didn't really hear what she said.
Well, that looks good. You guys have I know it's good. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, I was giving some bread to my daughter, and I took out the bread. It was like, it smells so good. And I was like, well, I was about to bite it, and I did not.
You don't eat.
But the thing is, I can eat. I know I can do it. I can do lunch, get some Subway. I'll be fine. I'll be alive. But bro, it's just I really had over 15 months without gluten at all. Like that's amazing.
That's so gross. I'm sure it's not a thing.
No, it would suck. It would suck. Like I love bread. I love going to Olive Garden, eating all the bread in Olive Garden.
I don't like Olive Garden. Are you 100% sure it's Olive Garden?
It says, all right, so they stuck something up my thingy. And they went in there and they took samples. And they looked at it, and it says, the villi looks like it's celiac sprue. And it's in my blood. I have the antibody in my blood and I suck. Okay? I'm defective.
Okay, but like, where's my mom? Do you feel better now that you're not eating?
Yeah, I could do it.
Sorry, how often I watch it with my recommended videos. Oh God, more bad.
Okay, so now let's wrap it up. You guys saw how I kind of pieced everything together? All right, so we have the probability of A plus a probability of B minus the probability of A and B. This is what it means in this book for a probability of A or B or both. Because you could do a probability of A or B, but not both, which means that you're going to go ahead and just figure out probability of A exclusively and B exclusively. So that's interesting. But in this case, then we just take probability of A is 13 out of 25. Plus a probability of B, which is 12 out of 25. Sorry, B is 9 out of 25. 9 out of 25. And then you're going to subtract 1 out of 5. Because that's A and B, right? And so 13 plus 9, I think that's 22 out of 25. Minus 5 out of 25. It should come out to 17 out of 25. Let me make sure. But you gotta admit, like after 15 months of not eating gluten and exercising, I've lost a lot of weight. So, and I'm in decent shape. I could be in better shape though. But Let's see if I can keep it up. That's the fear you always have. Yes, sir.
I asked you to do a survey for a second because my grade depends on this.
A survey? How many questions? Go quickly.
I don't know, but it's
It's a QR code.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
But I gotta, okay.
It depends on it.
All right, do the last one, guys. Probability of A, not A and not B divided by the probability of not B.
It has to do with probability. This is actually very on topic. Very true.
So there you go.
Probably teachers do good.
I'll take it.
All right, guys, work on this question while I pause the recording. And then I gotta edit the part that I. Okay, so the last one is not A and not B. So we're gonna go ahead and grab not A and not B. Shh, guys, please pay attention. 8/25. And then we're divided by B prime, which is 16/25. Right? And so this is going to be 8/25 times 25/16 comes out to half. And so these problems, they're not so hard to do, but you got to wrap your head around it. I'm going to give you next class 3 problems like this where the number changed around. Yes.
Okay, that's probably a really stupid question. How do you find A and B?
Okay, so I was able to find A was given to me 13/25. So I was able to figure out A prime by just what's left over to complete 1. I know this is 1, has to add up to 1. A plus A prime must equal to 1. So therefore I take 1 minus 13/25, I get 12/25. And then I figured out A and B in 1. So I was able to put 1/5 here. And they gave me B is 9/25, which then lets me do B prime. And then it lets me figure out when I get this and I have that, I can figure out this, I can figure out that and that, because I know that this plus this must give me that.
Okay, I get it.
And that's how you piece everything together and allows you to get all the information so you can do the problem. You'll have 3 problems just like what we reviewed today in class, next class. It will be worth 2 grades.
So making a chart like that is very.
It's very helpful, very helpful.